What's good, everybody? It's your boy Everton. So today we're talking about Visible. I tried both their new plans, and only one of them is really worth it, in my humble opinion. But let's talk about it. So a little bit over 2 months ago, Visible did this whole thing where they introduced two plans instead of that one size fits all. They have Visible, which is really just a rebranding of the old plan that they had, and they had Visible Plus, which is adds on a few more perks, and it really seemed a little bit interesting. Now, I will tell you this. I want to get this out of the way because I don't want to waste your time. If you have international communication concerns, right? You have people out of the country, out of the United States that you want to talk to, do want to look at Visible Plus. It just has more international perks where Visible doesn't have really any. So if you have international communication needs, look at Visible Plus. You know, no need to even waste your time with the rest of the video. But if you do have domestic concerns, you know, talking about really data speeds, because that's a lot of what's gonna affect you, I want you guys definitely to pay attention to this video. Let's go ahead and go over what both these plans offer, and I'll start out with what they both changed. So previously, they used to be on a cloud server where basically they would connect to two of Verizon's, their parent company's towers. So you'd have to go through the cloud, then connect to the server, and then the server might be very far away from you. I know that my ping times were very high, and ping times basically mean the higher that they are, the slower that the internet was basically responding to whatever you wanted to, you know, whatever web page or service you wanted to use. So it made the service feel really slow. Now, ping times are super low. They're like 13, 11. That's great for the network performance overall. It feels a lot more snappier. But we're going to talk about essentially now what the plans each offer. Starting with Visible, it does offer unlimited talk and text and data. You get 5G LTE and 4G LTE. Now that is capped at about 200 Mbps, but 200 Mbps is plenty. You can do a lot with that. You only need about 20 to stream like HD video, 20 Mbps down. So you can do a lot. You get spam protections and unlimited calls to Mexico and Canada. But Verizon Plus is where the real perks are, right? So even though I'm gonna go through these perks, I'm gonna talk about what it's actually like to use it. So you do get everything that you got with normal Visible, but you get 5G Ultra Wideband, which means that your speeds are gonna go past the 200 Mbps cap. You do get 50 gigabytes of prioritized data, roaming in Canada and Mexico. You do get about half a gigabyte of data to use in Canada and Mexico. So yeah, a bunch of perks that you have with it. Now, I will tell you that since I did use Visible Plus first, I want to talk about on the opposite end, the regular Visible, because I did notice some things. Let's talk about the network data speeds. Now, yes, you do have up to 200 Mbps down, but to be honest with you, I did notice a lot of deprioritization. Deprioritization is basically when the network gets busy in your area, meaning a lot of people are using the network, you will be pushed down to slower speeds. And that did happen to me a lot. A couple times where it was almost unbearable, like it was really getting annoying, but I did notice deprioritization a lot. That's why I'm kind of glad I chose the prioritized data plan first so I could really notice a drastic difference. It does make a difference in your, in your ability to use the network. With Verizon and this whole deprioritization thing is that compared to like a network like T-Mobile's network that has a greater bandwidth, in my area, Verizon or Visible doesn't have that much bandwidth, which means that it's a lot easier for the network to get crowded, and therefore once the network does get crowded with fewer people on it, you're gonna get deprioritized a lot sooner than you would with another carrier, things like that. I did start to notice that a lot, and that is probably the deal breaker for me. Now, there are things that you can do to check this. There's an app called Open Signal that will tell you the average of speeds per network in your area. Spam protection and all that good stuff is actually great. I really haven't had any spam calls on my phone, so I really appreciate that. But yeah, that's basically it. A lot of deprioritization. Coverage is good in rural areas, so you have that because, well, basically Verizon is good in rural areas. Now, what I will tell you about Visible Plus, here's where it gets fun, right? It has a bunch of perks and things like that. Now, we really talked about the international perks already, but you do have 50 gigabytes of prioritized data, which basically means that that deprioritization that I spoke about before, that doesn't occur. And you can get all these perks for about $45 per month. Now, I will tell you that I noticed a much better data experience than I did obviously with Visible because I didn't have to deal with the deprioritization, but you do get 50 gigabytes of that priority data. And after that 50 gigabyte is hit, then you are subjected to still sometimes high speeds, right? You still can get it. It's not gonna drop off to like 2G speeds, but it will be subjected to deprioritization. So you can still potentially get that great speed and also ultra wideband. Now, I will tell you about the data quality. I did start to notice some buffering with YouTube when I try to view like 1080p video, which was expected. A lot of these prepaid carriers, they do buffer you or throttle you down. But one thing that really bothered me was I actually was standing outside of an office and I was trying to download an episode. I don't have good service in that office. I knew I had to be there for a while. I wanted to watch a TV show while I was waiting for an appointment, and I tried to download a show and it was taking really, really long. Like very long to download that show. And I was like, and not 90% of the show had been downloaded. I said, hey, let me go ahead and turn on my VPN just to see if Visible is like throttling my service. And then it blew through the rest of the 10% of that video. So I decided to download another episode and it blew through it. Now, yes, it could have been a one-off experience. Maybe somebody just left at the same time that I turned on my VPN. Except that I decided to conduct that experiment at home in a more controlled environment, at a more controlled time. And well, I'm gonna put up the results on screen. I'm gonna fast forward it because it took a while. Visible is throttling our speeds for the things that we need ultra wideband for while you're at this, like pushing us as this is a perk. This is what ultra wideband, this is what you get access to. And I think that's really deceptive. And I'm gonna call you guys out. Looking at web pages, reading articles, that is low bandwidth stuff. When I want to download a show, and guys, I live in an ultra wideband area, I should not get throttled. You are systemically putting caps on my ability to do certain things that would take advantage of the thing that you're selling me as a perk to pay for all this stuff. Please stop that. It's one of the benefits of coming to a company like this is that we don't get the big business jargon and double talk. We're here because we just want to pay for the cords and what you put on paper. So if we get ultra wideband capacity, don't systemically throttle us. And FYI guys, I use a VPN service. It's called NordVPN. My link is in the description for NordVPN. If you guys do want to check it out, definitely, if you like the service, you can definitely go ahead and if you want to try Visible, you'll probably need a NordVPN as well. Not only do you get the security features of having anonymity, I think that's how you say that, but you also bypass any systemic throttling. It's said that we have to do that, but that is the reality of companies that do things like that. But at the end of the day, I mean, it is what it is. So link in the description for that. But outside of that throttling that they did, it really was a pleasant experience. I mean, the service was very responsive. 50 gigabytes is way more than I need. Yeah, guys, it was a very responsive network. I had a pleasant time, but Visible Plus is probably the one that I would suggest going. Once again, if you guys do want to check out Visible, there's also a link to them in the description. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys have Visible or Visible Plus? What was your experience? But until next time, I'm Everton, and I do videos Everton's way. Peace.